One day in 1887, Anthony Showalter, a professor of music, received letters from two of his students informing him that both lost their wives and were buried on the same day. In his letter of condolence, Showalter chose a verse from Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 27, to console them. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. This verse inspired him to write the refrain to the hymn, Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. Showalter went on to write the music to the hymn and asked Reverend Elisha Hoffman to finish writing the verses. Leaning on the Everlasting Gods is another hymn that shares with its listeners the peace that comes from surrendering to God. Verse 3 reads, What have I to dread? What have I to fear? Leaning on the everlasting arms. I have blessed peace with my Lord so near, leaning on the everlasting arms. Our sending hymn, Blessed Assurance, was written by Fanny Crosby. Crosby, blind at the age of 6 weeks, was a lifelong Methodist who began composing hymns at the age of 6. An author of more than 8,000 gospel hymns, she drew her inspiration from her faith. It was not unusual for Crosby's texts to be inspired by a pre-existing tune. One day, tune composer Phoebe Knapp played a melody to Crosby and asked, What does this melody say to you? Crosby replied that it said, Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. And she proceeded to recite the entire first stanza of that now famous hymn, Blessed Assurance.